Hello and welcome to this short story series, A Day in the Life of Julian of Norwich, narrated by myself, ICSI All Things. If you want to follow along, please subscribe and hit the bell button to be informed of the next story posted. Thank you. Part 4. The first meeting of fellow mystic, a pilgrim, Margery Kempe. Today, I'm tempted to rush through my waking prayers and contemplations because I'm so excited to get dressed and ready to receive my special visitor, Margery Kempe. The breakfast brought by my attendant seemed a chore, although I normally love my food dearly. The breakfast was good, but I couldn't think of anything else about when she would arrive and whether there would be crowds that normally draw there, or those who wish to seek solace from me from my little window to the street. It is still dawn, though, and I am an early riser. You may already know of Margery Kempe from King's Lynn, North Norfolk in England. I mention her in my book, Divine Revelations of Love. This came to be the first book written by a woman in England in the 14th century. But also, Margery became famous as I did for writing the first autobiography of a woman in England, and she completed this just before her death in the 2 years between 1436 and 38. It's strange that both our writings nearly vanished, and they were as if remaining hidden for hundreds of years. Margery's book was lost from the early 16th century until it fell out of a cupboard in a country house in the 1930s. I wonder which angel did that. I digress. The year is only 1413 and we have not even met yet. In your timeline, this would be around 600 years ago. Not that time really matters, but today it does, as I am unusually impatient for her arrival. As I pace around my tiny cell, I cannot settle to tapestry or write a single sentence in the church scrolls that I am copying. My rosary twists and turns in my hands, more like worry beads today than Hail Marys. Suddenly, Amelia the cat pricks up her ears, and I know someone is approaching outside. Her sense of hearing is far more finely tuned than mine now. She jumps up on the rickety gold wooden chair and meows. I expect she's more interested in the food she may beget from the unknown visitor than who they are. Cupboard love, I think, smiling to myself and rushing towards the window myself, as fast as I can. I peek out, and there is indeed a woman, and she's dressed all in white, and I gasp in excitement. Is that you, Margery Kempe? It must be, I thought, as no one else has the audacity to wear white as she does, and call out to the Lord on the streets in great lamenting and tears, as she's become infamous for. In fact, she's been dragged in front of the courts 20 times or so, if gossip is to be believed, for preaching as a woman about the passions of the Christ and begging his forgiveness, all of which is highly unusual and considered heresy by the priests. Till now, she's managed to talk her way out of being imprisoned, or worse, burnt at the stake as a heretic. I cannot wait to hear how she reasoned with them in order to be set free. She sounds a courageous and brave woman indeed. What an amazing oracle she must be. A younger voice than mine calls out loudly my name. Mother Julian, are you arisen? I jumped out of my skin as I was right next to the window like an excited child, unbeknown to her. Yes, dear one, it is I. Whom do I have the privilege of greeting so bright and early in the morn, beloved child? I asked politely, although tingling inside. It is I, Margery Kempe from the Lynn, North Norfolk. I am your humble servant, and I have travelled far to speak with you, if that is acceptable to your holy self. I hope and beg that you have time to hear me, as I'm deeply troubled and doubting of my position with our Lord Jesus. I have so many things to speak and ask of you that I know not where to start, and pray that you will listen to me for my full reassurance regarding my passionate desire to travel as a pilgrim to holy places I've been shewn in visions and portents through the Christ. Oh, do say you will consider my humble position and hear me out. Well, that was quite an introduction, and considering what I'd heard of her pious and religious wretchedness, seemed to be typical of the outburstings she's so well known for. Dear one, I begin, please calm yourself. Take a seat in the garden. We can discuss all things in a patient manner, so that you are come to peace inside and are shewn the deepest unconditional love, for which our Lord is the most known. I will ask my attendant to let you in, and shall shortly join you myself, beloved one. Well, this was going to be intense, but fascinating. I was used to use my discernment as an honoured anchorite and decipher her delirious but pious rantings, and make a clear judgment of her senses and whether she possessed them, or if she were possessed of other spirits, as so many had accused of her in the past. I knelt quickly at my small altar I'd made under the cross, bearing the statue of my Lord. I said a hurried and heartfelt prayer for his guidance and assistance in this matter. I, for one, knew how it felt to be delirious with fever when upon my deathbed at the tender age of 30, receiving visions which others could have thought were the rantings of someone with a high fever. That was in 1372, though over 40 years ago now, and I am grown to a ripe old age. My heart was now centred in love and empathy as I rose creakily from my kneeling hassock and walked purposefully but a little shakily towards the tiny door into the garden. I would need to guide her to start at the beginning of her story so as not to be confused from the outset with all the details of her desires. My mind is not quite as clear as it used to be. This was going to be a long but interesting day indeed. Thank you for listening. I look forward to joining you in part 5, The Blessing for Margery Kempe. Stay safe and be well, and all shall be well. Blessings.